Welcome into WagerTalk TV. I am Drew Martin, joined by Teddy Covers and Tony Finn from WagerTalk and SportsMemo.com. This video is brought to you by Touchdown Alabama. We're talking Alabama versus LSU. And most years, guys, this would be considered possibly game of the century. This year, a little bit of a stretch, but we do have the ultimate equalizer. Alabama favored by 29 in Baton Rouge, 68 being the total here, Teddy. If you had to bet it sidewise, you think the Crimson Tide are looking to cover, 30 points in this game?
Yeah, they're looking to cover 30 points in this game. Let's not forget, all right, last year, LSU beat them 46-41. Last year, LSU won the national title. You think Alabama doesn't remember that? I think they do. Last time here, Alabama wins 29-0. That would not be enough to cover this point spread. But this is a Crimson Tide team. For as much hype as they've gotten, for as much they've been number one all year and haven't moved out of the number one spot. Since losing against the spread in their season opener to Missouri, 7-0 straight up, 6-1 against the spread. They're blowing out heavyweights, A&M and Georgia by 28 and 17. The only non-cover during that span came in a game where they hung 63 on Ole Miss. Okay. Alabama's at a different level right now than I think anybody else in college football. LSU isn't. This is a team that's averaging 3.2 yards per carry for the season. Only 6 rushing touchdowns all year. Their leading receiver, Terrence Marshall, just opted out. They have a couple of backup freshmen as quarterbacks in TJ Finley and Max Johnson. Okay. Their defense stepped up the last couple of weeks. I don't know that anyone's stopping Alabama. I really don't. I don't think LSU can keep up scoring-wise. So if I'm playing, I'll lay. If I'm playing, I'm laying. Alabama minus the spot. I also lean under in this ballgame because I don't see LSU scoring a whole lot. This is not a potent offense at this stage of the season. And the Crimson Tide defense has improved by leaps and bounds in recent weeks to the tune of 16 combined points allowed in their last 3 ball games. I think Alabama's going to kill them. Sometimes it's that simple. And when you talk about a national championship caliber team that is undervalued in the betting marketplace year in, year out, just look at Alabama's spread record over the last 10 years. Okay. Every year they're in the national championship hunt. Every year you bet them game in, game out, you make money. This year's no different. Bama or pass for me. Lean under as well.
Teddy Covers on Twitter at Teddy_Covers. Good analysis as always. Coming to you, Tony Finn. I guess just to play devil's advocate to what Teddy said, and I'm not saying I disagree with him, but laying 30 points on the road in the SEC, just profile of bet wise might not be the most advantageous thing in terms of positive EV, expected value in betting over the long term. That I'm just trying to make arguments here towards the 29-point underdog, Tony. But what do you think in LSU versus Alabama?
Well, Nick Saban is not on my list. There are some coaches who I believe wholeheartedly, whether they verbalized it or whether someone has told me third hand that know what the spread is and they want to cover. Nick Saban's never been on that list, but Teddy's right. This team, they cover. They cover year in and year out. If you bet on Alabama and you're laying the number, more often you're in the positive. Your bottom line is positive. And what he said, what Teddy didn't say, and I know I've heard him say it before, and he's completely right about anytime you're dealing with a number, they're in the high 20s, the 30s, the 40s in college football. It's a mismatch, and I hate to say that Alabama LSU is a mismatch, but this year LSU's fairly been unpredictable. They played well against A&M, Texas A&M, who's I think is a good team. I think it's a good fish team. And here's the problem: when you have a team that's laying 30, it's really up to that team. They're going to cover if they want to cover. They're going to win by as much as they want to win by. When you see a college team favored by 40 points, Teddy will say they're going to win by as much as they want to win by. And this is a situation, despite the fact that Alabama's lost Waddle, that they were being a little bit leaned on a little bit heavy and critiqued because their defense was a little soft early on. He's accurate. They've played better. They've done the job. They're 8-0. They're 28.5-point favorites. They're 8-0 in conference, obviously. LSU is allowing 340 yards, passing yards per game, and opponents are completing almost 65% of their passes. That's not a recipe for success against Alabama. I have to say that I'm with Teddy here. it's Alabama or it's nothing. And I don't have an opinion on the total, but I really like the situation Alabama's in, and I think this is one of those games where Saban says it's time we put a show on. It's almost game time. So Bama minus the points.
And it's definitely worth noting, Drew, that Saban will be back on the side. Was expected back on the sideline this week for Alabama after missing last week's game. It's also worth noting some of what happened in terms of LSU success against the spread against A&M last week had to do with the lousy weather. The field was soaking wet. Yeah. They better hope for rain this time around if they're going to hang in this game.
Well, and Teddy, it's an interesting concept. You bring, Saban back on the sideline, expected to be back. I don't know if that really helps or hurts them. With Saban, years ago being on the defensive side of things and a little bit more to the cuff. Now he's opened up some, but Sarkisian calling the mixes almost makes me want to lay it more. No,
I mean it's not. When the coach isn't there, sometimes the team knows that the coach is going to be watching everything 56 times harder, and you get an A-level effort. With the coach back on the sidelines, I don't think Alabama lets down.
Okay.
So it's not. I don't think it hurts them. I thought it was worth mentioning.
Okay. And we got Teddy Covers, Tony Finn. Good analysis as always, guys. Hope you enjoy the matchup here. LSU versus Alabama. Also, make sure to check out Sports Memo and WagerTalk.com. We got the Cyber Week special. Less than $100 a month for the next 6 months. Handicapper of your choice. You get full handicapping service. Check it out at both websites. Cyber Week special. Sports Memo, WagerTalk.com.